Hello friends, this is Dale Collins with the Mount Zion Media Ministry presenting our daily prayer scripture group online video version. Today we'd like to present to you this short video about prayer, encouraging people to pray, encouraging people and educating people more about the subject of prayer. And we would appreciate that you like the video. If you like it, share it. If you would like, and comment certainly. Help us get this message out around the world. Today's thought is simply that Jesus rose from prayer and found his disciples sleeping. Let's read that again. Jesus rose from prayer and found his disciples sleeping. Obviously, this short video of our daily prayer scripture group is promoting prayer and our need to pray, educating people about prayer. Today's thought comes from Luke chapter 22, and we want to read in this setting of scripture about the Lord, about him praying, and about him coming back and finding the disciples asleep. Kind of sounds like what might happen if we're not careful when the Lord returns to this earth again. Will he find the church asleep? Oh, friends, it's a time to awake and arise from our sleep. It's time to trim our lamps. The Bible is full of examples of this sort of thing happening, of people being caught off guard. We want to be ready today. Listen what he says here, Luke 22 and verse 40. He said, verse 39, and he came out and went as he was wont to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples also followed him. And he was at the place, he said unto them, Pray ye that ye enter not into temptation. Friend, there's things happening every day in our lives that we should pray that we enter not into temptation. Lord, don't lead me down that road, that path of temptation today. And he said in verse 41, he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast, and he kneeled down and prayed. We see here there's several ways of praying. Sometimes they sit, sometimes they stood, and sometimes they kneeled down to pray. And so should people today. Verse 42, he said, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me, but nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. Here again, it's not God praying to God, but it's the fleshly side of the Son of Man, that God had robed himself a body and made himself a body out of flesh, and that was the flesh praying unto God to overcome the things that he was about to face. You and I have to have a prayer life in order that we may overcome the things that we have to face, the things that we surely will probably go through before the end of the world. And there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthened him, in verse 44, and being in agony, prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as if of great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Friend, we need to ask ourselves, when is the last time that we have been in agony over a condition, a certain condition, over lost people, over the condition of the church, over the condition of the world? When is the last time that we, as Christian people, have been struck with agony and have prayed more earnestly? Friend, it's time the church wake up today and we get back to earnest prayer, earnestly seeking God, earnestly desiring to hear from him. That's why more people today don't have convictions. They don't seem to think almost anything is wrong today, but yet our forefathers just a few decades back thought lots of things were wrong. And the difference today, friend, is that folks today claim to be Christians, and they got plenty of preachers that lie to them and tell them they are. If they just love this world and they just eat it up, and they're so wrapped up in the things of this world, and not necessarily evil or sinful bad things, but they've just got their time invested in all sorts of activities rather than putting God first and praying and seeking God first like our forefathers did. Notice what he said here, that he sought him, he prayed more earnestly. Sometimes it takes earnest prayer if you're going to pray through and get something from God. And verse 45 said, when he arose up from prayer and was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow. Their hearts were broken. It was a terrible time for them. It was a great time of temptation, and there was all sort of things about to happen to them they may not have even understood, but yet their hearts were broken with sorrow, and they were asleep rather than being up praying. And I'm afraid that's where the church world is today, friend. The majority of the church world is asleep spiritually. Oh, they've got their coffee shops and they've got all the things going on inside of mega churches nowadays. There's lots of activity, lots of pie suppers and ball games and you name it. Lots of fellowship dinners and things like that. Lots of singings. Oh, we're singing about going to heaven, but very few Christians are really praying and making the necessary preparations to be in God's eternal kingdom. We need to realize today, friend, it's a time for us to wake up as Christians and to not only pray, but spend some time in agony, more earnestly praying and seeking God. Verse 46, our last scripture today said, and he said unto them, why sleep ye? Rise and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. There is a terrible time coming on the face of this earth before the world ends, before Jesus comes back. And friend, it's going to be rough. The time to prepare is today. The time to pray is today. Let me encourage you to earnestly seek God today. Make that a habit from here on out. This is Dale Collins with the Mount Zion Media Ministry. Thanking you for watching today. I want to encourage you to have faith in God and to live so God can bless you and use you. Thanks for watching.